Um, I'm so glad to be here. My question is about my dog. This has been like an ongoing source of aggravation. 7 months ago, she just started getting really aggressive. And I've had her since she was a puppy. She was found, and we moved from Las Vegas to Texas. And about 7 months ago, anytime we go out, she started getting aggressive with other dogs. And now I'm noticing she's getting better with bigger dogs, but small dogs she wants to eat. Female dogs she hates. And then the other night she almost killed a dog. And so everyone's telling me just take her to the pound. And I was ready to put her in the paper and take her to the pound yesterday. And I came home from work, and after thinking about all the tapes and everything I've read, and I said, this doesn't feel good to me. I look in the eyes and I go, no, I just can't. And I don't know what I'm doing in my vibration that I could change for her.
Well, when something gets worse and worse and worse, it can be being influenced or aggravated by your attention to it being worse and worse and worse. In other words, think about how you feel when someone holds you as their object of attention and sees you as wonderful.
Right.
Everything just sort of settles in nicely. Now, we don't want you to need that, but it does feel good. And think about how it feels when someone has determined that your behavior is inappropriate and they are holding you in that object of attention.
Right.
Now, it's really interesting when you domesticate an animal, because animals have ways of approaching life. There are a lot of dogs that kill to live. A lot of beasts do. So it's interesting when you domesticate an animal and you want to superimpose your values over them. We don't mean that it is the providing of the home that is setting this beast out of balance, but when you ask a beast to be different than his nature is, and then you personally feel condemnation for his behavior, then he starts going berserk over the energy that you are presenting. In other words, it's a contradiction. You're not being who you are. When you're upset with him, you are not a vibrational match to who you are. And he's sensitive to the energy and sort of responding to that. Have you ever heard anyone say that the dog will bite the person who is most afraid of it? If you're afraid of the dog, you're the one that will get bitten, and if you're not afraid, then the dog won't bother you. Well, what that's about is, in your fear, you've got contradictory energy, and in your contradiction of energy, you look like something that the dog does not want to associate with. Jerry and Esther listened to us go on and on and on about the pure positive energy beasts, and then they watched in their chicken yard some years ago a hen developed some disease about something. She was getting ready to die, and the other hens pecked her. They would not allow her in to eat. They didn't want her near them. Whenever she tried to join them, they'd peck her on the head, and Esther was heartbroken over it, because humans want to coddle and nurture anyone who's down, and the chickens, who we had told her were pure positive energy, were doing just the opposite. They did not want that vibration amongst them, because she was not displaying or emitting a vibration of well-being, and her vibrational patterns were uncomfortable to their insistence on selfishly being aligned with well-being. Now, a chicken, you say, is not very wise, but we wish for all our human friends to be that wise. In other words, we're not encouraging you to peck your sick friends on the head and not assist them, but we're also not encouraging you to get in vibrational alignment with them and let whatever they're living mess up your energy. So here's what we would do with this beast. We would stop condemning him. We would stop calling him inappropriate. We would look at her as a pure positive energy being who is out of balance a little bit, and we would begin expecting things to get better. And we would try to separate the reality of what's happening from what you would like to happen, and we would begin looking for the evidence of things you want to see. And we would remember why we picked this dog out of the lineup when we did. In other words, we would think about how it is that the dog came and how you felt in the beginning. And we would go back to the earliest memories that you can find of this beast that was tuned in, tapped in, turned on. And we would reactivate within ourselves that expectation of that. And then don't freak out. In other words, this dog is not a mean dog, but anybody that gets backed into a corner sort of starts fighting for their life. In other words, this dog is displaying to you a strong reaction to contradictory energy. And you all would do it too. In other words, if somebody pressed a pillow over your face, you'd fight for your well-being. And just because this dog is not behaving like other well-mannered dogs does not mean that this dog is inappropriate or deserves to be put down.
Okay.
We would say to the dog every day, I have chosen to continue to co-create with you because I adore you and I believe in the magnificent potential of our future experience.
Okay.
And as you say it, mean it for a while. Don't put the dog in the position that it can disappoint you right away. Now, where does the dog spend its time? Is it outside?
No, we live in an apartment. And everyone in the complex is afraid of me. They see the blonde girl and the dog, and everyone like walks away. I mean, and I'm like, hey. So I'm trying to change that as well. And so when she does get to play, I mean, if she does, she's already ready to pounce on anything.
Well, Jerry and Esther, as they are moving about, are staying in many RV parks with their coach, and almost everyone they see has a dog or two. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of variety in the dogs, and some of them are fluffy little adorable things that will jump right into your arms and lick your face. And some of them are gruff and annoyed at being penned up. Jerry and Esther can feel personality differences of great variety. The other day, Esther was out. It was dark, and she was taking a brief walk, and the man walking had two large dogs. Esther could not see them very well. She could tell they were big by the sound of them. And they barked so gruffly and rushed at Esther. And Esther didn't flinch. She just said to herself, I believe in the power of the leash. And I do not believe that this man would really be out walking the dog if there was really any danger to me. And the dogs sounded as if they would like to have her for supper. And Esther just stood there and regained her balance, and in her mind said to the beasts, I'm glad you're out taking a walk. And isn't it nice that you have someone who cares about taking you out? And isn't this a magnificent night? Esther's not talking to the owner. She is not talking out loud to anyone. She is just projecting her appreciation and sort of expressing her confidence in her own well-being. And the dogs just sort of settled down and kind of panted as they went past her happily. And Esther could feel that they were responding maybe to somebody else who was afraid of them. And they were sort of responding to something that Esther was not feeling. Esther was not sure where that came from because she had been unaware of the dogs. But Esther could feel how her well-being calmed them. She could feel how whatever it is they were feeling was changed by her attention, her connected attention of them, you see. So you're in a very good position. Don't let the neighbors worry you. Don't worry about what they think. Just convince yourself and then convince them that there is no danger, and then do your best to cause that effect by not letting your dog run in any way that it could attack any other dog until you have an opportunity to regain your balance around it, and then your dog will too.
Okay.
Your dog is not really very happy in an apartment and may very well be making as much trouble for herself as possible so that you will make other plans.
I understand. Okay.
Are you happy in an apartment?
Now, and that would be my next question, is that I keep wanting to, move on with my life and get married and, find the perfect mate and all that other fun stuff. But I keep saying when I'm perfect, like when I make more money and when I find a career, then I can move on and do all that stuff.
Well, you don't have to wait until you have it, but line up with it vibrationally. In other words, take that emotional journey and visualize things working out well for you. And you're not ever going to be perfect because you're going to continue to evolve. And perfection sort of implies endedness. And you're not ever going to find the perfect mate because your mate will continue to evolve also. Mm-hmm. But it feels to us that you have this beast in your life for a reason. In other words, you've attracted this dog in order to give yourself the excuse to do some things that you wanted to do anyway. In other words, you sort of like your solitude, and the dog sort of provides that. And you do not want to live in an apartment, but you're not unhappy enough to take yourself away, but you might do it for your dog.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And so earlier today we said to everyone, make peace with where you are. And sometimes people will describe a relationship or a situation and they'll say, should I end it? Should I have the dog put to sleep? Should I give the dog away? Should I have my husband put to sleep? Should I should I walk away from the relationship? And sometimes we say, that may be the best thing for you from where you are, but always we say, if you leave this situation because there is something here that you do not like, then you have to leave the next place and the next place and the next place and the next place, because within everything there is the potential for things wanted and unwanted. So when you stay right where you are, especially when there is so much that you do want in a relationship, and we're talking about the relationship with your beast, when you stay right where you are and you amplify the positive aspects of something, then even though you will move on, because you must move on, you cannot stay where you are, you will move toward what you want, because you cannot move away from what you want. Because when you try to move away from what you want, you activate it and it comes with you. Okay. So when you make peace with where you are, and then you deliberately get feeling better and better, when you move into the new place, then all of the new things that you're wanting, all of the things that you're wanting can rendezvous with you in the new place. You're not far from the things that you're wanting. Just relax and be playful. Okay. And do not complain about the things that are missing. Call them temporarily absent and on the way.
Okay. Thank you.